Welcome to Scariest Ways to Die. Two men are slowly cooked in an industrial oven that was not given enough time to cool. A Michigan man dies after falling into a vat of acid. 5 underwater welders are sucked into a pipe 200 meters under the ocean. Only one escapes. All this and more in today's Two Cats, One Dog, Scariest Ways to Die. As always, I'm your host, Daniel Martin. To my left is
Jeffrey Lee Curtis.
And then to my super left is Ethan, the dog, Kern.
Ruff, ruff.
Give it a woof woof. And
Woof,
let's
woof.
get right into our first story today, Death by Chocolat. It's that movie with Johnny Depp. You know, watch it. If you watch it long enough, you die. Chocolat.
It's chocolate, dude.
It's just call it chocolate in Paris. Chocolate in Paris, dude. I'm gonna go see chocolate. Who's in Paris? all right. On the morning of July 8th, 2009, the plant at 701 North 36th Street in Camden, New Jersey, operated under the name Lyons and Sons, prepared large batches of chocolate for further processing. Now, it's important to note that this is like a mass producer chocolate. Because I was trying to find out where I wanted to get a piece of this chocolate, but it's like, no, they sell chocolate to like other chocolate places, so it's kind of hard to track down. But the facility was using a vat approximately 8 feet deep in which raw chocolate blocks were loaded, melted, and agitated by heavy machinery. The vat, containing molten chocolate, was part of a melting and mixing system. A large kettle or tank with an agitator blade inside, continuously stirring the heated chocolate mass. Workers stood on a platform roughly 9 feet above the vat to feed raw chocolate chunks into the opening. I kind of want to try some raw chocolate.
That's a pretty dope
right?
job, though, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of what
do you
Dahmer
do?
did.
I just throw fucking chocolate into chocolate. Like,
Yeah.
That's
Why do you
pretty
think Dahmer could do it for so long? It was a chill job for a chill guy.
Super chill.
Super chill dude. The platform was described in a wrongful death complaint, spoiler alert, as unguarded, with several opening holes in cardboard laid on the surface, creating a slippery hazard.
Apparently, was there cardboard?
Because they kept getting layered with chocolate on it. It kept getting messy with chocolate, so it became slippery. So they put cardboard on it, which then became slippery with the chocolate. I mean, it's just fucking shit on shit. So on that morning, 29-year-old temporary worker Vincent Smith II had been assigned to feed large blocks of chocolate from the elevated platform into the vat below, as we just described.
Is it Smith second or Smith the second?
Smith, probably the second, but they don't put the, so I don't read the.
Well, it's Larry DeRocher the fourth,
But they don't put the.
Yeah, no,
you don't
it's
have to.
just
I
Larry
never do that. You don't
DeRocher.
have to write the. That's not part of your official name.
Nope.
Then I should just be able to say Vincent Smith's two.
Vincent Smith 2.0.
Two point. I think that would be funnier if we did
On
instead of
two.
like junior or like the
Larry
second. It'd be
DeRocher 4.0.
2, 4. But that'd be so cool. Be like, dude, it's the fourth version of me. I'm
gonna
fucking awesome.
yeah, I'm gonna start
like
calling
I'm
him
so cool. So on that morning, 29-year-old temporary worker Vincent Smith 2.0 had been assigned to feed large blocks of chocolate from the elevated platform into the vat below. His parents later alleged that he had only been on the job for about 2 weeks, which is just so unfortunate. And it's also the first temp job that he took with this fucking agency, which is just so, again, so such bad luck. He had been employed through that temp staffing agency, and that was the first one that he was assigned to at Lyons and Sons. And according to the investigative piece in the American Prospect, he had moved from rural Pennsylvania to Camden in search of work, and the job was his first assignment under the agency. Now, just talk
What year
about
was this?
That was 2009. I thought this was way later. Yeah, this is from 2009.
That's fucking crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I just got this temp job. Can't wait to start my first job with the temp
Yeah,
agency.
there's probably like a Facebook post. She was like, "Yeah, excited to start work tomorrow at this my favorite
There
chocolate
probably
place."
Was, or even a MySpace.
It was a dude.
Right around there.
Yeah, it was a dude.
That's true.
I think I said she, but yeah. So his task on that morning, hey, everybody misses Tom. He was your only friend. His task on that morning was to feed the large blocks of raw chocolate into a melting tank, which was 8 feet deep, approximately 120 degrees Fahrenheit in temperature, according to the investigations, via an elevated platform, which we had just discussed. I kind of wanted to describe to you what that was. So as you worked, the agitator was in motion, and of course, this is at very high temperature that it was mixing at. And at approximately 10 a.m., Smith slipped through an unguarded opening on the platform and plunged into the vat of molten chocolate. The mixing blade and the viscous heated chocolate overwhelmed him. According to reports, his coworker attempted to shut down the machinery and pull him out, but the shutoff mechanism was reportedly located down the stairs away from the platform rather than immediately accessible, which is just fucking bananas.
Yeah, that's insane.
That is bananas. Like here, let me this emergency button. Let me put it all the way at the top. Like, all right, okay, just hold on there, buddy. I'm just catching the elevator. Oh shit, someone just taking it down. Okay, give me just a second. You going up? It's like sitting there having a conversation. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. You got stuff going on. So emergency crews arrived, but by the time the extraction efforts could stabilize Smith's injuries, they were just too fatal, and he had passed away. A combination of mechanical trauma from the agitator, immersion in the melting mass, and the extreme heat proved unsurvivable. So following the incident, the investigations revealed multiple safety violations. The wrongful death complaint listed 32 separate alleged failures at the plant. Lack of required license, missing fall protections, inadequate inspection and supervision, insufficient machine guard design, and the fact that the processing operation was reportedly unlicensed. And then in January 2010, the companies tied to the facility were fined for violations after the incident, according to NBC 10 Philadelphia. So while the company produced chocolate used for other manufacturers, like I said, I tried to find where, like I was like, oh, was that a Hershey's bar or whatever? It's just, you're not going to find it. I kind of wanted to get one of the chocolate bars. I'd be kind of sell it on eBay or something.
Yeah, you killed a guy. We should give you our money.
Like, just what if he's got like a little fingernail in it? Like, hey, is that an almonds?
As far as first of all, that was almost 20 years ago.
It's a lot of chocolate.
Yeah, but maybe like a little rural town that hasn't restocked their shelves in a while. Like, go get an old Hershey's bar. It's got a little fingy in it. I could catch a lawsuit. I get really rich. The podcast blows up. I'm sipping on fucking pina coladas down in Key West.
They would probably give you like
hanging out with Hemingway's cats.
A chocolate bar for it. And the amount of human material inside of your food, as permitted by the FDA, would bother you.
Yeah, you can have like a certain amount of rats, like a certain amount of rats and like flies are okay.
But there's a carve out for human.
Yeah, you can have like a little
too.
bit.
Yeah,
because this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know?
So it literally though, like so, pretty much any Hershey bar you have.
But if it had a full ass chunk of someone's finger, I feel like I would get something. At least give me like $50 or like a voucher to come visit Hershey's theme park or something.
Bring money.
Bring money. Right. So that was the story of death by chocolat,
Crazy.
which I thought that is a horrible fucking way to die. And I imagine you're drowning while you're being like agitated, like the thing's going around and like getting it's bruising you to death while you're drowning, while it's really hot, like. And you're in chocolate. So some people, that's like heaven for them.
How big was the machinery? Because like I would have just tried.
It was 8 foot deep.
No. Like the machinery that was blending.
Like I would have tried to the arm of it, I imagine, was probably, if the thing is 8 foot deep, it's probably 4 feet by enough to get towards the bottom. They don't go all the way to the bottom, but like 3/4.
I've seen Ultimate Knockout. You can hold on to stuff like that for at least a little
fucking
bit.
American Ninja. He's just sitting there like holding on to the thing.
So
it's like, I've only been here 2 weeks.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
oh no.
Try to hold on to the arm at least.
I don't think that, but I think it's agitated. Those things move around like weird, like I don't know, man.
Yeah, but you just.
It's like a reverse mechanical bull.
Yeah, but if you can grab, like, if it's hitting him enough to kill him, then like. At some point, he probably could have grabbed down.
It was really hot. It was too hot.
It was probably really hot.
It's really hot.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Like that alone will kill you.
I think
real quick.
Are you? You think this man is still alive? You probably you think that this man faked his death and is now living somewhere else, probably working at a Dunkin' Donuts somewhere. Maybe they are like the assistant manager. Maybe they
assistant to the manager. I wicked do not.
You think
bro's hella dead?
Yeah.
But that said, grab onto something.
Lesson learned, everybody. Grab onto something.
If you fall on a vat,
if you're falling a vat,
chocolate,
just grab onto something.
Well, because like, don't get me wrong, that's
I'm pretty
fucked,
sure Sam
but
Elliott
it's
said
120.
that.
Like, you're not gonna die right away. It's gonna suck and it's gonna be rough, and that's what makes it a brutal.
I think it was it 120 Fahrenheit or Celsius? Did I say Fahrenheit?
Didn't you?
I probably said
Because I
don't
remember
know.
thinking
I don't remember now.
because if it was
too
120 Celsius, water boils at 100 Celsius. So that don't make any fucking sense.
So you have to be just warm enough. Yeah, it must have been Fahrenheit.
And actually,
Either
when
way,
you temper chocolate, you typically bring it to about 120. So I mean,
that makes sense. But at the same time, like, how are you going to swim out of it with the viscosity? Like,
That is thick.
gonna be
Shit
rough,
thick,
but that's why you hold on to the.
you just start swallowing the chocolate.
Yeah, do the Augustus Gloop.
It just
Until you get
like
all the way
a
to the
fucking
bottom.
chocolate factory.
Yeah.
All right, the next one up at bat was the acid vat one. So, death by acid
Don't
vats in Michigan.
Shit on the vat, Morty.
Dude, that's exactly what I was thinking of. I was like, really? A death by acid bath? That's a little on the nose. All right, so it was a quiet Saturday afternoon, February 9th, 2019, at Michigan Seamless Tube LLC. Shout out to Michigan Tube LLC if you're listening out there. A steel processing plant in South Lyon, Michigan, about 40 miles northwest of Detroit. The facility specialized in manufacturing seamless carbon and alloy steel tubing for heavy industry, the kind used in power plants, oil refineries, and automotive appliances. The process required cleaning and finishing raw steel using a series of acid percolating vats, where long tubes were dripped into a chemical solution to remove mill scale and oxidization before coating or shipment. At approximately 12:20 p.m., emergency dispatchers received a frantic call. A man had fallen into one of the chemical vats. Inside the plant, coworkers were screaming for help. When the first responders arrived, the air was thick with chemical vapors. The smell of sulfur and heat hung heavy over the steel floor. The man was David Charles Hill, known affectionately as Moose. He was 54 years old, a South Lyon local who had joined Michigan Seamless Tube in April of 2017, so 2 years prior. Hill was experienced, methodical, and by all accounts, the kind of worker who took pride in his craft. The guy who showed up early, stayed late, and looked after new hires. Friends said he loved his job, his family, and the outdoors. He and his wife had recently bought a small home near the woods outside of town where he enjoyed hunting and feeding deer. Yeah, pick one. Fucking pick one. His usual duties included monitoring the chemical baths and ensuring the steel tubes were properly cleaned before being sent along the production line. That meant regularly checking temperature, acidity, and contamination of the tanks, a normal but inherently dangerous task. And the vats were heated and contained corrosive mixtures. So, yeah, the particular tank involved in the accident held it was sulfuric acid. That's what it was, mixed with water and iron oxide residues. And the bath was at 160 degrees Fahrenheit.
Holy cow.
That is fucking horrible. So Hill's assignment that day was actually pretty routine. He was just testing the acidity level, and one of the percolating vats that was used for post-treatment cleaning, wearing the industrial boots and gloves, he walked along that metal platform, clipboard and sampling rod in hand. Exactly how he fell isn't known because the witnesses told investigators he may have lost balance or been caught up in a kind of a panel, but in a moment of a misstep, he plunged directly into the open tank. And when he hit the surface, the heat and acidity began burning him immediately. Coworkers rushed to his screams and pulled him out within seconds, dragging him toward the emergency shower station. Supervisors activated the safety shower rinse, and the acid-soaked water poured off of him as first responders were called. South Lyon Fire Chief Robert Vogel later told reporters he was still alive, talking when we arrived, but he was in some of the worst pain imaginable. Hill suffered extensive chemical burns over nearly his entire body. Paramedics transported him to the University of Michigan Hospital in Ann Arbor, where doctors fought to stabilize him. Despite hours of effort, he succumbed to his injuries around 11:30 that night. And an immediate investigation was, of course, launched by OSHA, the Michigan version of OSHA, and inspectors determined that the vat was part of an active production line and that the fall protection procedures and physical barriers around the tanks were inadequate. They cited the company for multiple serious violations, including improper maintenance of catwalks and insufficient guardrails. And in August of that year, 2019, they fined Michigan Seamless Tube $32,500 for workplace safety failures related to Hill's death. Police ruled out foul play, and the company issued a statement calling it a tragic accident and pledging to cooperate fully with investigators and improve safety standards. That is so not very much money.
That's what I was about to
not
say. Are
even a
you
little.
That is
fucking
not a lot of
kidding
money
me?
at all.
Did the
That's
family
not
at least
even
get a
slap on the
payout?
wrist.
I'm assuming that was a settlement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 32 couldn't have been
That
part. That's
maybe
a
they
fine. Those
probably
are
still so they
fines. I'm
probably
curious
that's a
as to what
fan
the
so they
settlement from
probably
that is.
still got we're not completely done with it, but I don't think I ended up finding what the family ended up. I always try to find.
Sometimes it's not disclosed.
Yeah, but I'm assuming they did get some kind of out of court settlement, and they probably did get a good payout for his life insurance if he had, assuming that he had it. But yeah, that is not, just to know that that's all you're worth to a
Jesus
company that's
Christ.
making hand
Well,
over
it's
foot.
all that the safety of the American worker is worth is $32,000.
Yeah, well, in Michigan, that was the Michigan's version of OSHA, but still,
But even still,
it's not good.
it's like for the government to say our constituents' lives are worth like I don't know 40 grand, not even.
Yeah, about 40
How
grand,
much
not
do you
even
make a year? Yeah, about that much.
about yeah.
less than that.
Yeah,
That's
for some
crazy.
people.
About 32 G's.
Well,
Great.
there's no way he was making less than 32 G's, so he doesn't even get a full year salary.
Right, exactly.
In
Like that's in
fines for
fines.
the company who killed him.
That's fucking bananas. So his neighbors described him as a soft-spoken and kind person who loved his wildlife near his home, helped his wife with yard work, and never complained about the long hours at the plant. For them, the image of Moose, a man who worked hard and never caused trouble, dying in a vat of acid was almost unthinkable. So that, yeah, I don't see it.
I don't
didn't
think
find anything.
anyone thinks of someone they know and love as eligible
I
or
think
likely
that
to
would be like
die
a
in
very
vat of acid.
Right.
yeah, it sounds refreshing. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go have a good week. I'm gonna go to Disney World. I'm gonna go to Hawaii, and then I'm gonna drown myself in a vat of acid. I'd be like, okay, that sounds peaceful. If that's what you want,
Sounds terrible. He didn't succumb
No,
until
that's
like
terrible.
11:30 at night.
that's the
like
thing.
almost
It's like you
12
basically
hours of
burned,
burning
burning to death slowly.
Crazy.
Oh, it's horrible.
They should have covered him in baking soda.
Yeah, all this stuff could react. It'd be like a chemistry project.
Well, it would have neutralized any.
I'm sure they
acids.
did whatever they could.
They
you know
probably
what I
knew
mean?
what they were doing.
Yeah.
I'm not a medical professional, so I'm not going to pretend that.
Well, yeah, because what was
You know
that?
what they
What
should
did
have
we
done?
say was hydrosulfuric acid? Was that what it was?
I thought you said it was just sulfuric acid.
Oh, was it just sulfuric? Either way,
Either way, you throw a base on it and you're fine.
yeah. But I don't know if he was gonna be fine after that.
Yeah, just
Ain't
throw
no
some
base is
on
gonna
it. Well, he
throw some
needed
base
to be
on
hydrated. They tell you that you got to drink enough water.
It was a cold morning in Woodbridge, Virginia, on January 23rd, 2017. The sound of chainsaws and engines echoed through a quiet suburban neighborhood as a three-man tree removal crew from the company R&T Tree Service arrived to clear storm-damaged branches. The men had been working for weeks, contracted to remove several large oaks that leaned dangerously close to power lines and driveways. Their routine was simple. One would cut, one would drag, and one would feed, just like when we go out to the bars. The trimmings in the industrial wood chipper parked at the curb. The victim that day was Charles, a.k.a. Chuck G. Major 2.0, a 24-year-old groundsman from Woodbridge. He had joined the company less than a year earlier, eager to work outdoors and earn steady pay. Friends later said he loved the physical nature of the job and didn't mind long hours in the cold if it meant being part of a solid crew. His role was that of the toughest on site, feeding cut branches, sometimes entire limbs, into the mouth of the chipper, a machine capable of grinding logs thicker than a man's torso into chips in seconds. I don't think I need to explain what a wood chipper does. So the chipper in use today, the day of the incident, was a Vermeer BC 1000 XL. So for my chipper nerds out there,
my
that's a
chip
Mac
heads.
Daddy, dude. My
Yeah.
chip heads. Yeah. That's a diesel-powered industrial model with hydraulically powered feed rollers, all right?
Damn, you want to know something that's crazy about diesel-powered
Wood chippers?
things? Anything?
What?
Diesel engines. You know why diesel's great for towing?
Why?
More torque.
Torque? Yeah, torque is cool. I've heard of this.
For a wood chipper, though, like just the fact that it's diesel powered means that torque's fucking stupid, which means that should just
It's just rip. Yeah.
shredding.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insanely powerful. Workers typically position themselves to the side, guiding each limb into the feed chute and stepping back as the rollers caught the wood. The machine's feed opening was roughly 12 inches high by 17 inches wide. Shortly after 12:30 p.m., the crew had nearly finished for the day. Witnesses reported that Major was feeding smaller branches into the chipper while another worked raked to bees.
One who worked baked to beat.
Raked to bees. That was a tongue twister.
That was
Witnesses report that Major was feeding smaller branches into the chipper while another worked raked to bees. I think I had a stroke.
Raked debris.
What's crazy is I just realized you were trying to say raked debris.
Debris. Oh, okay. There we go.
I think I'm done
How
with the pod.
debonair of you.
I can't read. Holy shit. Where was I? Oh, fuck. A third man was preparing to cut another tree section as the other one was raking debris, the second man. In the span of a few seconds, the routine broke. Investigators believe that either a section of brush snagged his clothing or a limb he was feeding shifted unexpectedly. The powerful feed rollers caught him, and before anyone could reach the shutoff bar, Major was pulled entirely into the machine.
That's why you got to do that shirtless.
Mm-hmm.
If he would have been naked,
If he would have been naked, he would have been alive right now. We could have talked to him about this.
we could have asked him what it was like to be naked.
And a wood chipper. By a wood chipper. But I felt good. I like to feel the breeze on the tip of my penis.
I really love when
My
the
really large
branches scrape
balls.
against my balls.
Yeah. Getting sawdust out of your taint.
You don't know morning wood.
After a long day.
You don't know morning wood.
Wood a completely new
Until
meaning.
You've had wood against you in the morning.
Honey, I've got sawdust in my mouth again. All right. So the men who saw it happen ran to the chipper control panel and hit the emergency reversal lever, but it was far too late. When police and paramedics arrived minutes later, the scene was grim. The crew was in shock, several overcome by what they'd witnessed. The incident commander from Prince William County Police described it as a tragic industrial accident of the worst kind. An investigation by the Virginia Department of Labor and Industrial Occupational Safety and Health Program later found that the chipper's safety mechanisms were functional. The machine itself was not defective. Instead, the problem was human vulnerability, with a job that demands precision and timing. OSHA standards require workers to maintain clear of feed rollers using long-handed tools to push material and wear loose-fitting clothing. It appeared that in a moment of routine, Major had stepped too close while trying to keep up with the pace of cleanup. R&T Tree Services temporarily shut down operations during the investigation. The state ultimately did not find systemic negligence, but issued safety guidance reminders every employee that chippers must have that functioning emergency stop and that crews should be trained to never work alone or reach within the feed rollers. Now, neighbors who watched from the porches that afternoon described hearing the machine stop suddenly, followed by shouting. One local resident told the Washington Post that she had seen the same crew earlier that week and remembered the young man smiling and waving as he loaded branches. There you go. That's the kind of shit right there. You shouldn't be smiling. I remember him being carelessly just like, hey, what's going on, neighbor? No, dude, the man should have been focused, okay? You need laser focus. Charles Major 2.0 left behind a fiance and a young son. His obituary described him as a devoted father, an outdoorsman who loved fishing and four-wheeling, and someone who loved life hands-on. His death became a sobering lesson in an industry where routine can turn fatal in an instant. So the Virginia OSHA summary closed with the line that resonated within the tight-knit arborist community. All controls were in place. The hazard was familiarity.
Damn.
It's a little grim reminder.
Yeah.
I feel like this is me just spitballing.
What are you spitballing here? Spit me.
Every worker had their own fucking shut off button that they could just fucking hit?
I think every person should have a shut off button for everything.
That's
everywhere
fair.
they go.
You mean you had that? Remember when you had your iPod
Never
Touch
forget.
and you had the fucking
The IR blaster.
Yeah, he had an IR fucking.
I would
blaster.
I would like turn on and
He would
off the
just-
stuff in TV the class, and then the
All over high
professor,
school.
the teachers would be like, "Oh, I don't know what's going on today."
He would just fuck with the TVs. You did
I
it at
guess we're-
FYE too. When fucking worked at FYE,
Yeah.
he fucking go in there and change all the channels on everything and just fucking leave.
And just fucking leave.
It was awesome.
It was really fun. I think everybody should have that power at least once. At
I
least
miss
once.
having phones with IR blasters. They were
for like
fucking
what's funny is
great.
because for a second that was obsolete because they all had them. Like you didn't need to go buy an adapter. Now
Yep.
we're full circle. If you want an IR blaster, you have to buy an adapter. And my fucking phone, the stupid port doesn't work. It still works, by the way, my phone. Didn't break
hate
it.
that.
Didn't break it.
It
I just
needs-
cracked the
It's gonna
back a little
survive
bit.
forever.
You
Yeah, I
need
know.
a new phone.
Well, I threw it at the couch, and
you
I didn't throw it
actually
directly
need a
at
new
the wall.
phone, though, is the problem.
I do, but not yet. Alrighty, so we got 2 more for the night, and then we'll wrap this up. So, it was a quiet Wednesday evening in Escondido, California, on December 4th, 2022, when 56-year-old James Jim Caddy drove his white Scion XB into the Persian Bros car wash on East Valley Parkway. He had been a regular customer, someone who preferred the automatic tunnel to a washing at home. Employees said he was polite, a little old-fashioned, and took pride in keeping his car spotless. The wash bay was an older, fully automated tunnel system. The jets, spinning brushes, and blowers complete the cycle. It was about 11 p.m. at a self-service window when the wash ran with minimal staff. Caddy pulled up to the entry, swiped his card, and the conveyor belt engaged, locking his front tire into the track that would pull the Scion forward. At some point mid-cycle, something went wrong. Security footage, later reviewed by Escondido police, shows the car stopping unexpectedly near the halfway point of the 50-foot tunnel. The conveyor system continued running while the car's transmission remained in park. A simple, all-too-common mistake in automatic washes. Alarm sounded and the conveyor dragged against the stationary tire, triggering a safety stop. Caddy, apparently thinking the wash had malfunctioned, got out of his vehicle to investigate. Inside an automatic wash tunnel, motion sensors and timing sequences control every second, so when a person exits their vehicle mid-cycle, the machinery doesn't recognize the difference between a car and a human being. Caddy stepped toward the front of the Scion just as the brushes began to retract and another vehicle entered the track behind him. The system attempted to reset, pulling the Scion slightly forward and closing the gap between the car, the track mechanism, and the rotating equipment. When the cycle finished and the next customer advanced, attendants found Caddy pinned between the car and the machinery, unresponsive. Emergency responders arrived within minutes, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. According to police and OSHA reports, the cause of death was crushing injuries consistent with entrapment between moving vehicles and the automatic equipment. Investigators from the California Division of Occupational Safety and Health determined that the car wash had up-to-date permits and the conveyor's emergency shutoff were functioning. What doomed Caddy wasn't mechanical failure, but a moment of human instinct, stepping out to inspect a machine he trusted. OSHA noted that the automatic car washes are designed for full automation. Pedestrians are not expected within the tunnel at any time. Caddy's family described him as meticulous and good-natured. He had worked for decades as a facilities technician for the local high school district and was known for his love of old cars and weekend detailing sessions. Friends told the San Diego Union Tribune that he was the kind of guy who'd notice a single scratch on his bumper. After his death...
Sounds like a fucking nightmare.
Right, dude. You're telling me. Tough crowd here.
It's like those fucking sneakerheads. Like, dude, no one cares about your fucking
I've
shoes.
never worn these before in my life. I'm like, that's fucking stupid.
Got a crease in them. Oh, there's a scratch in my bumper. Like, okay,
They're shoes.
get over yourself.
But
Jesus fuck.
but apparently he was meticulous. But he was
How is
very
meticulous
nice.
a good character?
He was very
trait?
nice. He's a very meticulously kind.
Okay.
Maybe he was kind about everything.
be
He's like,
nice.
he's like, you're a great person because of the way you smell and that you brush your teeth in the
Actually,
morning.
I offer a counterpoint.
What's
So, imagine living a life
I
where
heard it can't
when
do
you
it.
die, the best praise you get is that you were a meticulous
He
person.
liked his car.
Yeah,
he
he
was-
really
you
liked
know,
his
he was-
car.
He did.
Yeah, Jim.
Yeah, that guy, he was really
he was
liked his car?
meticulous.
He was
a
meticulous?
meticulous guy. You know, he just
Really good eye for detail.
Yeah,
that
he
guy.
really. You know, if you looked at his bumper, he'd tell you scratched it.
And
Yeah,
that's
just
really all I got.
meticulous. Yeah, no, dude.
That's really all I got.
When did this happen?
A
Was
couple years
Scion
ago.
XB. It was a couple years ago.
Yeah, it was, 2019?
Damn, I was
Oh,
gonna
shit. I didn't-
talk. I was gonna be like, hey, like,
How did I forget already?
I just really just can't imagine living a life
2022.
where everyone's like, yeah, man, he was meticulous. Like,
Yeah, I want people when I die, people to just not even know what to say about me.
To just-
And be like,
I just
dude,
want everyone to be like, who?
I don't know.
there
Yeah,
are
like,
a
I don't know.
million things you could call me when I die, but meticulous would be among one of the worst of them.
I'm gonna make sure to put that in his eulogy if I die after him. I'd be like, yeah, Ethan Karen was a
What am
very
I-
meticulous stranger of mine.
I don't know if I ever told you this story, Jeff Lee. One time I had to crawl into my trailer when I lived in my trailer, and I like scratched myself underneath it.
Oh, no.
And he was like, "Was that rusty?" I was like, "Yeah, like a little bit." He was like, "You should go get a tetanus shot." And I was like, "Oh, like it'll be fine, no big deal." And he looked at me and he said, If you die from tetanus, I'm not coming to your funeral. Which is objectively one of the funniest things anyone's ever fucking said to me.
I'm not supporting this fucking tetanus nonsense. I won't be a part of it.
Okay, Steve
I'm
Jobs,
washing
you could
my-
have just fucking got chemo.
All right. I'm going to wash my hands of this whole thing. I'm washing my hands of it. I won't be at the funeral.
How'd that beetroot extract treat you?
All plant-based diet.
Steve, how's the cancer from down there?
Going good, bud. Going good. All right,
Actually,
well,
the worms.
we've got one left for the night. You guys ready? And this one is something that we've actually talked about before, and you might recognize it if you're a member of our Patreon. Shout out to Zacajawea, Aaron Wiley, Grimkeeper, that all pay to listen to us, Babylon. We did a Deadliest Ways to Die series and actually did kind of a deep dive into this story. But today we're just going to do a quick summary because we want to know about what happened. And it is fucking bananas, and it stuck with me since I heard about it.
Which one is this one?
The Paria diving incident. Paria diving incident.
I don't remember this. Was I here for this?
You might
the Deadliest
you
Ways
might
to
have-
Die episode.
You might have been. I don't think you're.
Mason was.
I don't know who was here, but
Yeah.
someone was. Here.
Deadliest Ways to Die? That feels like an oxymoron.
It is.
Or
That's
not an
it's
oxymoron. It's a
a double.
redundant.
It's a
It is
redundant.
redundant.
Yeah,
It's
that's why
redundant.
it was supposed to be funny.
Was it?
It wasn't. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. The morning of February 25th, 2022 began like any other at the Paria Fuel Trading Company facility in Point Pierre in Trinidad and Tobago. The coastline industrial site, lined with pipelines and oil tanks, was hosting a small crew of contract divers from LMCS Limited, 5 men tasked with performing underwater maintenance inside a subsea pipe system. The divers were working on a 36-inch pipeline that ran from a storage tank on a shore of the Gulf of Paria. The job was to remove an inflatable plug that had been sealing one end of the pipe for maintenance. It was a familiar task. They've done similar jobs before, entering the large diameter line through an access hatch, working in pairs to disconnect and replace equipment while maintaining communication with the surface through headsets. The crew that day included Fazil Kurban, Rishi Nagasar, Yusuf Henry, Kazim Ali Jr., and Christopher Boodrum, who would become the sole survivor. They were experienced commercial divers, accustomed to murky water, tight spaces, and long hours. According to the later Commission of Inquiry, the work had been delayed by equipment shortages and poor planning. The men were eager to finish before nightfall. So at approximately 4:55 p.m., as the team prepared to withdraw from the inflatable plug from the pipeline, a catastrophic pressure imbalance occurred. The removal created what divers call a delta P event, a sudden differential in pressure between two connected volumes of water and air. Witnesses topside heard a loud rush of air followed by suction. In seconds, the 4 divers were sucked into the pipeline, one after another, like it was a fucking bad game of Paper Mario. The force was impossible to resist. The current dragged them through 900 long-foot pipe at terrifying speed. And on the surface, crew members screamed into radios trying to reach them, but inside the pipe was total darkness. The diameter, barely 3 feet, left no room to turn around. And these men were carried deep into the sealed section, far from the access point. I mean, they were almost 1,000 feet sucked into this fucking pipe, just with all their equipment strewn, with no idea what happened to them or where they are anymore. And they're all kind of stuck in a line. They're all in a line at the bottom of the fucking sea floor in a pipe, with like murky water still in there. It is a dire situation. Christopher Boodrum, the last diver pulled in, later told investigators that he managed to grab onto a flange briefly before losing grip. The pressure difference created an unstoppable vacuum, dragging him hundreds of feet. When the flow finally equalized, silence returned. Boodrum found himself alone, bruised, disoriented, and surrounded by the still, oily air of the pipeline. And he began crawling. They are down there and they're disoriented and they're all a little separated, but they're kind of close together and they can hear each other and they start talking to each other. The one guy's like, I am in the pipe. And he's like, I am too in the pipe. They're like, we're all in the pipe together. It's like they're trying. Yeah, it's literally, dude. But it's like, it's a dire situation, obviously, but they're trying to make the best of it. They figure out what's kind of going on, that the fact that they've been sucked into this pipe, they're possibly hundreds, if not hundreds of feet away from rescue, and they need to find a way to get the fuck out. And what they end up doing is Chris is going to be the one, since he's at the beginning of it, basically everybody else is behind him, that he's going to be the one to find to take the equipment and slowly work his way back up. And some of them have lost their equipment, some of them haven't. So I think like one or two of them had an oxygen tank on them. The other ones had I mean, it was such a violent event. Yeah, it sucked them in. So it ripped all their equipment off them. And their equipment basically was strewn about throughout their whole spot that they had been sucked into. So the further, when you started going back towards the event site is when he started finding more the masks, the oxygen tanks, and all this stuff. So he went with the one that he had, and then an extra one. The guys that were left there had like one to share, basically, and they could hardly breathe. But their best chance was having one person go out there and use the resources to try to get the fuck out and get help. Came up to the bend where he would have to go upwards now, and ran out of fucking oxygen again. But luckily found the very last tank that they brought down there with them. But the mouthpiece was completely broken, so he had to shove the thing completely down his throat to get oxygen out of the oxygen tank and worm his way back out of the tunnel that they got sucked into. So he gets to the surface, immediately is trying to get people to go back. He wanted to go back down there. He's like, we have to go back down there. We have to go get them. They're like, yo, we're going to put a rescue team together. It's fine. 2 days go by, never rescued him. They let him die down there.
That's nuts.
And he carries that guilt with him almost every fucking day. Probably every day. He's talked about it a few times. He breaks down talking about it. The guy's, I mean, this happened just a few years ago, so the guy's very much alive and not well. He's afraid of the water. He has PTSD. The guy is he's not good. They left him all down there to drown.
It's almost like there's an episode of Futurama where like a titanium mine collapses and like all the robots in there are trapped, and they're like, yeah, the plan is to basically just cover the mine and move on with our lives.
Yeah. That's the plan.
Like,
and that's pretty much what Paria was going to do, or what Paria, however you want to pronounce it. That's pretty much what the company was ready to do. But Boodrum has been outspoken against that. Of course, he's trying to make it known that they had a chance. And that the rescue team went down there once after he got out there. By the way, there was no one. They weren't looking for him. Yeah. He got out there by himself, and I think they were surprised, just as surprised as he was that he was live.
Like, hey, there's a guy.
They're like, fuck. So now we have to go and do something. So they did actually send a team down there, and they went and tapped. They tapped on that area in the pipe where they thought they might have been trapped, and they heard a few taps back. This was like 8 hours after, but then that was it. That was like they did like a prep dive, and they never went back down there. Why? I don't know.
What company do?
They're offshore oil company. They deal with blood money, literally as their job. So I mean, I get it, but fucking cold, dude. It's cold, especially considering these people are not. It's not like these are cheap. Like you could just go hire them for minimum wage.
Right.
Even from an inhuman standpoint, these people were worth. These divers are worth a lot of money. Yep. But they're contracted, so it's not like Paria or whatever owned them. They were just contracted through them, so they had really probably no skin in the game to actually go and spend the probably $1 million to go and save them. And then to spend another couple million probably destroying the pipeline to get them out, because I'm assuming they would have had to cut part of the pipe, bring some kind of thing to cut it open.
And that's probably they probably did a cost benefit analysis. There's a boardroom full of fucking inhuman fucks.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it actually would cost millions in order to cut out that piece and then replace it in order to get them out of there.
And then to maybe even not save them.
Right.
These are
they're just dead anyway.
We don't know that they're alive.
Yeah, exactly. So I was actually thinking about that when we covered this the first time, of like what exactly you could do to, let's say hypothetically a good company was going to try to save them. If you went and cut that part of the pipe, wouldn't it just rush in immediately with water and kill them all?
No, it's already equalized.
Well, if it's already full of water, then yeah.
The report found that the company had ignored multiple red flags, inadequate supervision, lack of pressure equalization protocols, and the absence of physical barriers that would have prevented anyone from being near the pipe opening during the plug removal. The commission recommended criminal charges for corporate manslaughter. The tragedy shook the nation, and for weeks, vigils were held outside of the Paria facility. The 4 dead divers were mourned as heroes of the working class, men who earned their living in the most dangerous of trades, which it is. Underwater dive, any of that shit is
underwater welding is considered one of the most dangerous.
It is so fucking dangerous. In the interviews after recovery, as we've mentioned, Chris Boodrum he is not doing so hot. Let me just put it there. He has not been. He's got PTSD. He's damaged. He is damaged. And I don't think he'll ever be the same. He said he can't even look at the beach. He can't go to the ocean. He can't look at it. And I don't blame him. I wouldn't either. I don't even like the ocean, and I've never been anything like that. I once got stung by a sea anemone. That was all I needed to do.
When did you get stung by a sea anemone?
When I was like 19 or 20, when we went down to Mississippi, I went to the Gulf of Mexico, the ocean, and immediately got hit by something that really hurt. And then I had this really bad rash. And that's what we kind of concluded I had to, but I'm sure it could have been something else. But
that's probably your best bet, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a really bad rash. It wasn't like a stinging thing. Yeah,
interesting.
I don't know. It wasn't good though. I never went back. That was when I was in Pascagoula, Mississippi, which we talked about last week.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Well, that was it. That's all I had for Scariest Ways to Die. I think we covered some absolutely horrifying
pretty horrendous,
things. I hope that you guys think about that tonight when you're trying to go to sleep.
Acid.
Acid, chocolate.
Which one's
the worst? I honestly, dude, I think the diver one would have been the worst.
Yeah, that one would suck.
I really don't think I would have liked
that.
that.
The acid's the worst.
The acid one really sucks. I was kind of hoping he would have been disintegrated. Yeah. I wish he would have just been like as soon as he got down there.
Yeah, because you would think, because I know like when you're like burned alive, like eventually like your nerve endings get burned off, and then you just don't feel it anymore. Or you just pass out from smoke inhalation.
But chemical burn, it's just like you're just gonna keep feeling it because there's like
Well, it can still burn off your.
Yeah.
Nerve endings.
If you start sloshing, your stuff starts sloshing off. But how long does that take? Sloshing probably takes a couple days. How long does it take to slosh?
Depends on how much you eat.
We'll get to the bottom of this for next time. I think that's it, everybody. Dry fast, take chances. Thank you so much for being here. We shouted out our Patreon people earlier, but be sure to be there. It's only $5 a month. You get lots of great exclusive content as well as Discord access, our Season 0. We are going to be doing merch towards the end of the year to celebrate a full 2025 of 2 cats, 1 dog. And you guys will get first access to that on the Patreon as well. So I think that's all I got for you. Take care, dude. Do drugs, find the street. Drive fast, take chances.
Yeah, never
Goodbye.
Listen to Daniel.
Legally, he has to say that.
Legally.
Where 56-year-old James Jim Caddy drove his white Scion. Is that how it's called? Yeah, that's how it's called. Yeah.